Whether it's the tinseled trees, the heartfelt gifts, or just the general kind-hearted and simple spirit of the times, the 1950s was a decade that seemed to capture the true essence of Christmas. The joys of festive traditions like decorating the tree, gathering with family, and maybe even reading a Christmas classic were always much anticipated. Each year, many families would attend local parades where they would be greeted by Santa Claus. Some parades even featured balloons and floats inspired by the Macy's parade. These small-town parades would often kick off the holiday season and build excitement in the minds of kids and adults alike. Choosing the perfect Christmas tree was another tradition that many families made an effort to celebrate. Whether they were cutting down a fresh Scotch pine or selecting a new aluminum tree, adding the decorations was always a highlight. During the 1950s, bubble lights were a popular choice, and once the lights warmed up the liquid, tiny bubbles would be released up the tube, bringing the tree to life. One of the things that changed drastically during the 1950s was consumerism. This was especially true when it came to the Christmas season, with ads flooding newspapers and magazines with the latest gadgets that men, women, and children needed for the holiday. Men were encouraged to spoil their wives with a practical gift that would make their life easier, while women were encouraged to buy men gifts that would help them relax after a hard day at work. For kids, it was all about the latest and greatest toys. Many well-known and must-have toys of the time were first introduced during this decade. Kids went nutty over Silly Putty when the novelty item debuted in 1950. When Hasbro introduced Mr. Potato Head in 1952, kids decorated the face of a real live potato rather than the more familiar plastic one. In 1953, a man named Jack Odell learned that his daughter couldn't bring toys to school unless they were small enough to fit inside a matchbox. Thus, the Matchbox car was born. Play-Doh showed up in 1956. The Frisbee, originally called the Pluto Platter, in 1957. And the hula hoop came in 1958. Dolls were also at the top of many Christmas lists. The Vogue doll company's Ginny dolls took girls by storm during the 1950s. Sweet Sue dolls made by the American Character Doll Company were also popular. But since the 1959 launch of Barbie, the doll world has never been the same. Usually, as Christmas drew closer, families would begin to gather to celebrate together. In those days, most family members lived within a few miles of each other, so large holiday gatherings were expected, with grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins all assembling together. For some families, Christmas Eve wouldn't be the same without a special story reading. After hanging the stockings and putting out a snack for Santa, mothers and fathers across the country might have read the story of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or the poem The Night Before Christmas, before tucking the kids into bed. The one thing that never changes as the years pass is the sense of wonder that the Christmas holiday brings. If you have your own memories or traditions of Christmas, I would love for you to share them in the comments. Please enjoy this remaining photo album from the past of Christmas during the 1950s.